Starfox. Now, what can we say about Nintendo's space epic that is Starfox? Well, we all know the game is great, it has a massive legacy, it's beloved by the fans, and everyone has been hounding Nintendo for a new game in the series. And how did the Big N respond? Wait, another remake of Star Fox 64? Well, this better be good. And that's exactly what I'm here to talk about. I haven't really been on time with Star Fox's release, let's say, but I feel like as someone who had a lot of fun playing every Star Fox game growing up, I think I should give my opinion on what I feel the new game brings, and is it as bad or as good as everyone thinks? Now, going on to the main point about this game, people are kind of like, what's the point releasing another version of Star Fox 64? But you've got to realise, the Switch console generation has been out since 2017. We're currently in 2026, so that means there have been 9 years in between the Switch releasing and Star Fox releasing for the Switch 2. Now, if we count Star Fox Zero, that was 2016, so 10 years since the last Star Fox game. Kids have been created, kids have grown up, so if you have a 5 to 10 year old kid who wants to get into the Star Fox series, a remake of 64 is probably the best way to go. So you sell the game, you see if the sales are good, see what people think, they're good and bad, and then if it's successful, we release another game. We bring a new game into the series based on the highs of the game that we have just released. If you think about it in a business sense, it is the correct thing to do, because although us as fans want a new game, bringing new fans into the series to experience Star Fox for the first time is probably one of the best things to do for the longevity of Nintendo's franchise. Now, enough about the current state of Star Fox and why it's good or bad to release this remake. Let's talk about the game itself. Does it have anything new that Star Fox 64 didn't have? Well, no. In terms of the gameplay. But if we're talking about the actual inside out of the game, yes, it's got a lot more gameplay modes. It has a multiplayer mode that you can play online where you have a 4v4 team battle. So Star Fox versus Star Wolf. You have multiple maps that you can play different modes. You can play either a dogfight where you're fighting for a tower. You have collect the orbs, or you have the take one bit of cargo to another, or steal the cargo. They're quite fun. I played through them. They're quite entertaining. But we also have a mission mode where if you complete a mission, you go back and get all the objectives for them. It makes the replayability of the game quite high. Also, in terms of replayability, there's a different control scheme you could use where instead of using a pad, you could use the Joy-Cons, where you could use one Joy-Con as a mouse shooter and one as a control for the R-Wing. You could also do this mode in co-op 2-player, where one would have the shoot and one would have to fly the plane. So it's good for people who don't have that kind of ability to play the game at a high level. You give them one choice or the other to take their mind off the other. It's very, very good. But in terms of the single player, no, like the gameplay is tat for tat, the N64 version. So one would argue, why would you buy it? Well, the graphics. Like, let me just put a comparison to Star Fox 64, and this Star Fox 2026 remake.
Slippy, watch out! Bogey on your tail!
Slippy, stay in formation. Now you've done it, Slippy. Bogey on your tail.
It's just night and day. It's so epic. Like, you'll go through an area where you're like, this really looks like it's been torn by the flames of war. You know, look at all the other worlds, Solar. You know, the heat of that area. You know, it looks a lot more immersive. That's what I'm saying. The voice acting as well. It's had a massive overhaul. New actors, you know, and don't get me wrong. Like, the original Starfox 64 does have the memeable and the quoted lines, and
Do a barrel roll!
you know, it's that campiness of it that people love to this day. Also, I think they kind of missed the point with the new game. They should have made the same compression technique that they did for the N64, because it is an intercom, so it would have been kind of cool to keep that. But that's like my only gripe with that. Also, when we talk about new things in the game, they have implemented a lot more additional cutscenes in between missions, or before missions, where you get to know the team a little bit better. You get to see Fox's and Falco's rivalry, you know, you get to see them being a bit like more competitive. Peppy being the mentor character, you know. Slippy Toad having a bit more usefulness than just being chased around and being attacked by the spaceships. Kind of shows like he's helping the team out by being that mechanic. A lot more like immersion with the world is what I'm trying to say. It was what was lacking, you know, with all the other games. Like, sure, they have story beats and, you know, and you do know a bit more, but there wasn't that kind of like way to build the characters up and make you love them more. And that's what this game does. It makes you show their quirkier side, you know, the reason they're fighting, you know, the fact that like Fox at the beginning of the game is a rookie mercenary, so you see the whole team kind of like come into their own by the end of the game, which it's very, very satisfying to watch. And I think the new scenes were implemented very well, and they give people a reason to play this new version. Also, let's not talk about the VTuber shenanigans people are doing with these avatars. It is wacky funny.
Just take a deep breath, calm down now.
Peppy, you know Fox is allergic to bees, right?
Wait, he is? Get away from me! Fox is open.
We've established that the game has more to give than the original Starfox. We've established that the new lick and paint is very much appreciated. But did it bring the same feeling as playing the game when you were a child? I'm happy to say, for me anyway, it did. I was immediately taken back, you know, the same set pieces, but, you know, obviously I was like, wow, look at the new stuff, it looks great. But, like, it just took me back to being an 8-year-old on Christmas playing Lilac Wars that I got for Christmas. Just, you know, it was like when you were a kid, you would imagine the extra destruction, you know, you're in space, this whole emptiness of it, but this game finally lets us imagine what it would have felt like. It's like bottling up that childish imagination and putting it into a game, so to speak. And I absolutely loved playing through my playthrough of the game. Like we said earlier, you know, there's extra story beats, there's extra ways that the crew kind of interact, there's a lot more banter in the stages. I just think it just has this really good flow to the game. Like, the original already had a great flow anyway, but it just made it even better. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. The new character designs. Do we like them? I think they have grown on me. I am not going to lie, sit here and say I think they were amazing from the start. No, I did prefer the Smash Ultimate Star Fox Zero design of the characters. The way they portrayed it in Super Mario Galaxy as well. But after, like, you know, playing the game, it didn't really, you know, I didn't sit there and go, oh, this game's so bad because of these new avatars, I really hate them. No, I was just having a blast with the game. Like, when he was making the original Star Fox, he was inspired by Captain Scarlet, Thunderbirds. For those who don't know, they were like puppet shows that were based in the 1960s. For those who want a more modern example, maybe Team America? That aside, the point is, Miyamoto wanted to take inspiration from those shows. You know, a team of extra skilled characters who overcame challenges that were faced in front of them every week. You know, they would get over all of the obstacles, they'd rescue the people, they'd take out the bad guy, and then go at it again next week like it was their job they do every day. That's what Miyamoto wanted. And don't get me wrong, you could play the game on a weekly basis, do a world each week, and you could still have fun that way. You don't have to play the game like 20 hours a time, you know, go through a full playthrough. That's what made the game so fun. It was just kind of like, ooh, what they're going to get up to now scenario. That's what made the original Starfox and Starfox 64 good. Now, you know, it's like when you look at the original Starfox box art. Ooh, yeah, they're like, you can see why people are like, why have they just gone back to this art? It's a bit weird. You can see when you look at the original Thunderbirds what Miyamoto was going for, and the Switch 2 has the capabilities to show that off. So why not? I have yammered on for too long. What are my final thoughts on the game? Well, I am of the opinion that this game is a 10 out of 10, you know, for what it is. It is a remake of Starfox 64 for a new generation. It fills in some of the gaps the original game had with the cutscenes. It has a very enjoyable multiplayer game mode. It has replayability in the missions, and, you know, in the way you can unlock the encyclopedia of all the characters. It adds a few extra scenes for lore, and it looks beautiful. I wouldn't want anything more from a Starfox 64 remake. I think it's a great way to start rebooting the franchise to a younger audience. You know, make it more of a space epic like Star Wars. And if it's very successful, which based on like the first week of sales that it had in June, you know, where it sold 1 million copies, I think we're going to have a follow-up game, whether it's a remake of Adventures or a new game entirely. So I think it's looking quite high for the Starfox series. And it's no longer going to become a second F-Zero. Where are you, F-Zero? Why does Nintendo not like you? But yeah, those are my opinions of the new Starfox games. Its pros and cons, what I feel it brings to the series, and why they've gone about the way they've gone about it. I love the game, I think I'll be playing it for years to come. But what are your thoughts? Do you like the game? Do you think they should have released the new game altogether straight away? I look forward to reading your comments. And with that, I'll see you next time with a new video.